What's going on, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, so what we're looking at right now is the NQ chart. We're looking at the 5-minute time frame. Just to kind of start off here, a couple of supply and demand zones on my chart. So what we're looking at here, those overnight session lows sitting at around 15,339. We're also looking at the overnight session highs sitting at 15,444. Yesterday's lows here in orange and yesterday's highs here. So now we're getting a good push higher here, and currently in a long position here on micros, right? So playing this little bit of a breakout here, anticipated this move here on the last 5-minute candle for this high of day breakout. Currently up $86, which you guys can, I think you guys can see it on the screen here, over here on the right. $73, $74. So probably just going to sell out of this position here, only playing 2 micros, so size is relatively small. Just going to go ahead and lock in those gains there for 79 bucks, right? So very, very quick little scalp there. Going to take out those highs here. Waiting for the pullback here. So again, we're definitely pushing into yesterday's range here. So just to kind of recap on what I've done so far in the futures market, again, if the platform looks a little bit different here, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different here. I'm going to be building a trading plan for smaller accounts, people who do have smaller accounts, maybe people who are doing funded challenges, this, that, and the other. I think funded challenges, through any of these prop firms, they are good. However, you don't need a lot of money to, trade futures, right? Currently working with Iron Beam, which is the platform and broker that I'm using for futures here. And again, it's, going to cost you around $50 in margin to be able to trade one MES, or $100 to trade in MNQ. So again, you don't really need to, kind of have a ton of money there to be able to trade these. And again, sometimes when you really look at trading the prop firms, you have to make a certain amount of dollars before you get funded, and you have to do it again. So by the time it's all said and done, maybe you're $200, $300, $400 into your account worth of investment, and probably would have needed to make anywhere between $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, when realistically you could do all the same trading micros on your own personal account. Again, it's all about managing risk. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? So just currently looking at the NASDAQ kind of push up higher here, and if I go back to my charting chart here, again, for all of you guys who came late, what we're looking at here, top line being around 15,721, which is yesterday's highs. We have yesterday's lows here sitting at 15,414. So again, so we pushed back into the range of yesterday. In order for the market to go higher, we would have to break out over 15,721, but there's plenty of room here. There's plenty of range to kind of play up to the long side. Again, we've got these overnight session lows and highs here. That's the dotted lines that you see on our screen. So we were trading relatively inside the range until about 8:15 Pacific Standard Time is when we kind of broke out of that range from those overnight session lows. Again, perfect buy opportunities here. When you're kind of looking at the price action live, and NQ continues to push higher here, when you're looking at the price action live before the rest of these bars printed, it's kind of hard to tell, are we going to continue to sell off? Are we going to bounce? Once you see the first initial push off here from the 15,300s all the way up to 15,444 area, once we got rejected that first time and came all the way back down and kind of held, this would have been a perfect opportunity to start going long here to start the New York session. We got that first initial push higher. That first rejection came back and back tested. And then once we really started to see green candle take out red, which I'm going to go ahead and emphasize here. So if we look at the market open was here, coming off of the overnight session lows, made an attempt to test the 20-period moving average, finally closed over off the bell here at 7:35 Pacific Standard Time, ran into yesterday's lows, okay? Stick with me here. Ran into yesterday's lows, consolidated, finally broke through, and started to test the overnight session highs. Okay, so there was a short position here once we had no continuation follow through, once we never closed over the overnight session highs, and you've seen this started to back trace. What you could have essentially done here, if I pull up my drawing tool, you could have taken these lows here from this consolidation, taken the high use this as a hard stop loss, and then got in on the confirmation once we started to crack through below. And then you just want to basically play from demand to demand to demand, which is down here again. Now, once we had no follow through below the overnight session lows here and we started to bounce, an easy way to kind of pick off these bounce plays here and try to scalp the reversals is when you see us come into a level of demand. Now, again, it can't just be when we're floating higher here, or, you know, you're floating in the middle of a range. When we come down into a level of demand that was tested once, tested twice, and even tested before in the overnight session here, you can see it was tested 3 times. Once green candle takes out red, you can set a 1 bar stop here, get long, put your money into this candle or this candle on the confirmation over, and kind of just sit long and see what we want to do here. As long as this red candle here doesn't start to take out the low of day, you know, maybe you have to sit through a little bit of drawdown, maybe you have to sit through a little bit of consolidation, but again, that's okay, you know, when you're giving yourself that 1 bar stop, because our risk is going to be here. Okay, so regardless, now if this is too much risk for you, because again, some people who are playing the NQ or playing micros, even giving themselves a 1 bar stop can seem relatively like a lot of money. So from 392 down to 355, you're talking about a 35 point ish, right? 35 point ish stop loss. Now, if you're going in and you're playing 2, 3, 4 minis, of course, this is way too much risk for someone to kind of take, which is why I emphasize and I stress like deeply, like, please, please, please start off playing micros, right? There is no rush. There is no this need to where you need to make $1,000 in a day and you've only been trading for a year or 6 months or 2 months, or maybe you've been struggling for the past couple of years. If you're not consistent already, right? If you're not a consistent trader already, where you're coming into the markets, you're picking off these zones, you're making 500, making $1,000 consistently, then there's no real reason to try to catch every move that's going to, you know, put up $10,000 per trade. You know, that kind of shit is honestly, it's foolish and it's not the smartest thing to do. Play micros, start off playing 1 contract at a time, even 1 contract at a 30 to 35 point kind of risk as a max paying stop loss. We're talking like 60, 70 bucks loss, right? For a potential 1-to-1 R, you could potentially be making 60, 70, $100. In this particular case here, if we look at, you know, kind of, if you would have gotten in on this last break over the 20 SMA, this bounce off of the overnight session lows here, I mean, we've traded from a price of 15,395, I mean, to currently highs of 15,520. So if you do the math here, I mean, this is over 100 points worth of run up. I mean, this is a $150, $200, $250 trade, you know, essentially with 0 risk, because we've never even came close to getting stopped out here. So, but again, you know, that kind of stuff comes with experience. It comes with time. You're not going to see it. Another play that was setting up here was once we started to really break over, right? Because if you notice this consolidation here, notice this consolidation never closed over the overnight session lows, right? So just to kind of be clear here, the dotted line is the overnight session lows. And I'm calling it pre-market lows, overnight session lows. Basically, what I'm talking about is from midnight starting today, Thursday, what was the high price and what was the low price? Those are the dotted lines. That's the range I want to see. What did we trade in the overnight session? Some people will, you know, the London session, right? What did the London session do, right? That's what I really want to know. So I take that range, and as soon as we can close over, which even though we broke here, we never closed over, right? So when we finally get the close over 810, look for the confirmation, and this is another scalp play here. So we get the close over, okay? Use a 1 bar stop. You have a 20 SMA trailing. You've got yesterday's lows as a max pain if you want to even give it a little bit more risk, you know, depending on your risk tolerance. And your money goes flying into this candle here. So if you kind of look at the scalp potential, if you could have taken this trade here, you know, you would have been looking for 15,450, and within 5 minutes goes to 15,472. This is a 22 point candle. I'm not even including the top wick that came up to 7/9. Let's just include the body candle here. This is a 20 point move in a matter of 5 minutes. So, you know, even if you're playing 1 contract, you're looking at a $40 win. You're playing 2, you're looking at an $80 win, right? You playing 3, I mean, it goes up and up and up. Now, obviously, the more contracts you're playing, the bigger size. Obviously, we know the more money you're going to make. But, you know, regardless if you're trading futures in a personal account or you're trading futures for a prop firm, You know, if you're trading for a prop firm, it's all about, you know, managing the risk. 100%. You know, when you manage that risk, you want to make sure that you're not oversized, because that can really start to it could start to cause a lot of pain. You know, one bad trade can definitely get you thrown out there. So I'd love to know what you guys traded today. Probably not going to be on live for too much. Just kind of wanted to pop on here and see what everyone's up to. Let me know what you guys traded. How'd you guys do? Did we scratch today? Are we up a little bit? Are we down a little bit? You know, let me know. We can review some charts. It doesn't have to be futures. It can be options as well. I took a couple of trades on the option side as well. I'll outline for you very, very quickly here one of the setups that I took this morning. So if we kind of look at NVIDIA, right, same kind of chart setup. I'm going to mark out yesterday's highs. I'm going to mark out yesterday's lows, and then I'm going to mark out the pre-market highs and lows. What I want to see is a breakdown below pre-market lows, below yesterday's lows, get the close under, and then I want follow through. Okay, that's what I'm looking for on the short side. So again, my charts will be set up prior to the 6:30 a.m. market open, right? So as soon as we see that we're holding these pre-market lows, look at the first candle that starts to print, okay, right before the bell opens. So 6:25 a.m., the candle that prints is a close off of the pre-market lows back over the 20 SMA when we were already trading below the 20 SMA. So this could start to signal to us potential short-term change in trend. And if you're ready and you're aggressive enough and you trust your strategy and you trust supply and demand, you start trusting technical analysis, you would throw your money into the opening range candle that opens up off the bell here. So again, looking at the 5-minute time frame, as soon as we take out the highs of the candle that closes over the 20 SMA, we're going to throw our money in. And the reason why candle that's sitting right here on our pre-market lows, we're going to use this as a hard stop. So this risk here is sitting from 436.40s, and the entry price is 438. So we're giving ourselves about $1.75 worth of risk. Completely fine. Again, I emphasize this a lot. In NVIDIA, Tesla, you're going to trade those type of stocks. You're going to give yourself $1, $1.50, $2 worth of risk, because we're looking for that one-to-one, right? So, you know, if the average true range on NVIDIA and Tesla, you know, within any given time can pop $1, $1.25, $1.50, I love to take profits at those areas, and then I love to hold, you know, 1 or 2 contracts of my position sizing, which is around 8 to 10, and I like to see if they can continue to run. Okay, so if we see the opening candle here prints from an entry price of around 438.40s all the way up to 441.26. So if we look at this first initial candle, even if, right, and here's the thing, forget about all this, forget about all of this, right? Forget about all this move higher, okay? If you just look at this entry candle here, you're talking about taking $2, $3 in a matter of 5 minutes. For a lot of people, you don't even need any more than that. Play the correct sizing, take your one trade and get the hell out. Hold a runner to see if we can continue to crack the pre-market highs. And as you see us start to crack the pre-market highs and put in a close, boom, you should be out. If you want to increase your strike rate and you want to increase the win rate, you want to increase the amount of times that you're winning versus losing, then don't be a greedy SOB. If the setup is here and your stop loss is here, this is your entry. As soon as we break pre-market highs and we get a candle close over it, you're out. Bye, done, turn off the computer screen, go do something else, okay? You know, would it be nice to catch all of this? Sure. You know, leave a runner, set your stop loss at break even. Here's another potential setup that I had posted in the Evolution Traders Discord. But once we got this first initial break and then we pulled back, there was a setup here, boom. And if you analyze this chart and see why was there a setup here? If we broke out over the pre-market highs and pulled right back into what? Pre-market highs, rising support at the 20 SMA. All we are looking for at this point in time is green candle, take out red, off an area of support. Boom, money goes in this candle. puts in a high, back test the 20 period moving average for the second time, boom, out, right? Or hold, new high, out. That's how you play it, right? That's how you play these types of moves. But again, this comes with experience. It comes with confidence. It comes with taking trades. The only way a trader is going to get better, the only way a trader is going to get more consistent is by taking trades. So make sure that you guys are taking trades. The only way you're going to get more profitable is by taking trades. You have to learn what works, learn what works better for you. What time frames are you okay playing things right off the bell, right off the bell? Or do you like to let things digest, back test, and take an entry later, right? You know, what strategy works for you? You know, what time frames work for you? For me personally, I love to scalp the 5 minute, and I like to correlate that looking at the hourly candles as well. So tried trading MES, too much volatility, so you gave up. So you gave up trading MES because of volatility this morning, or in general, right? Like, you talking about over time, or just because today was too volatile? You know, I mean, let's really dive into, you know, what the ES was doing today, right? Let's see if we can find these setups. Okay, so the same thing, my charts are going to all be marked out the same way, because things that I trade, I definitely today. Okay, so I'm always marking out these levels here, right? So again, 45.70s, yesterday's highs, and then we had yesterday's lows sitting at around 45.27. We've got that overnight session lows at around 45.10. We've got the overnight session highs at around 45.32. So what we would be looking for, if I just go to the market open here at around 6:30, okay? Again, I'm in California, so everything I'm going to speak in is in Pacific Standard Time. So if we kind of start analyzing where we start to open up at, we're trading at the overnight session lows, right? So here's the opening candle here. It's a little red, cracks below, no close below the overnight session lows, kind of bounces, stuck in between the range here, 20 SMA, overnight session lows, you know, again, bouncing. So here was a little bit of a play here, 650, right? 650 Pacific Standard Time, you get the close over 45.21, runs up to a price of 45.26. This is a 5-point move. Okay, 5-point move. So again, for people who trade MES, I'm definitely stressing, you know, if you can get 3, 4, 5 handles, points, whatever you call it, it's a good spot to take profits, right? Good spot to take profits, and then move. If you don't want to sell everything, move your runners. So for example, let's say we buy 2 contracts. We sell for profits at 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. We then set our break even stop on the runner at break even, right? It's break even. So we're not going to lose anymore on that trade. You know, puts in a very quick high here. But again, one thing that you have to focus on is we're still underneath yesterday's lows. We're still underneath the overnight session highs. So we're going to hit resistance, right? Until we start to break out, which you can see us now starting to break out. Look at the candle that's finally broken out over the overnight session highs. It's starting to run here. So again, you know, understand where we're at in the chart, and that will help you understand where you should be taking profits. Should you be holding? Should you be trying to just take a scalp? If we look at the next play setup here, 7:05 Pacific Standard Time, we get the close underneath the 20 SMA. So automatically, if I'm looking to take this trade, what am I automatically thinking? If this is acting as demand, which it has here, 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 if I take this short position at 710, I need to be taking profits into this support. Doesn't mean I need to wait for it to crack. Doesn't mean I need to wait for it to touch. I need to be taking profits on the way down. So if we look at the entry price here, 45.16, we get a confirmation. We do get a slight little bounce. It would have put you into a little bit of drawdown. Again, your max pain, your stop loss, 45.22, your entry price, 45.16. Wide stop loss here. So again, not going to recommend to trade minis. Trade micros, 1, 2, 3 contracts at a time. even with trading, you know, a couple of micros here, we're talking about a $50 stop loss. It's nothing. That's peanuts, right? So we look at the confirmation here. We sit through a little bit of drawdown. We get the breakdown here, 45.16. Next candle goes to 45.13. This is 3 points. Even if we're trading, you know, one contract, it's $15. You're trading two contracts, it's $30 in profit. And then we get this flush here. We get the second back test at the 20 SMA, no close over your initial reason why candle, and then we get the next flush. And what am I already knowing? I need to take profits into this demand. Why? Because the market has proven to us it keeps bouncing off of that, right? So if we were to take profits somewhere in this candle here, I'm not even going to call it the bottom, because let's just give us the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know, we didn't know, because obviously no one's going to know that it's going to close at 45.11. So let's say we took profits at 45.13 from an entry price of 45.16. It's still 3 points, right? So, you know, if you want to hold your runner for break even, then your runner would have cracked below and it goes to a price of 45.05. So with that, you're talking about, you know, you're talking about 10 points on the net, on the ES, right? Once we get the breakthrough and then there's no continued follow through here, you can see starting at 7:30, right? At 7:30, we start a little bit of a bounce. We get back into the range here. We get a little bit of a setup here, closes below. This is a stop loss. You would have taken a little bit of a loss here on this setup here. But again, it's all relative, right? It's all relative at this point, because if you just start analyzing the price action, and I'm going to use my eyes and common sense, okay? Common sense is telling me we traded down to these lows once, we bounced, we were rejected. We traded down to these lows twice with no follow through or continuation to the downside. We bounced the second time. At this point in time, if we're going to go long, we've got to use 45.05 as a stop, or at least pretty damn close to it, 45.10 maybe, right? Because like common sense is telling me we tried to crack the lows once, we bounced, we got rejected, understandable. We tried to crack the lows and in fact did crack the lows, but there's no follow through. Where's the follow through on the selling pressure? Like this candle is a great setup to start going short. So where are the bears? Where's the follow through? Look at the reversal here. Where is the follow through? If we can't get the follow through, we have to start thinking bounce, right? We have to start thinking, if we get back into this range and we could start to take out the 20 SMA here, then maybe we just use the overnight session lows as a hard max pain stop, and we just sit on our hands and patiently wait, right? Maybe we put the hard stop loss underneath, right? We put the hard stop loss back at our overnight session lows, this dotted line, and we get the hell off the computer screen. We go take a walk, we go get coffee, we go get a breakfast or whatever, and we come back, you know, an hour later to only see that the market is higher. And if it would have broken down again, okay, so what, right? So what? So we got stopped out for 5, 6, 7 points. Big deal, right? Big deal. You know, so what hour does the previous day's high end? Is it 4:30 Pacific Standard Time? And when does the previous? Yeah, so if we just look at my chart here, I'm going to show you how I'm finding this. I'm going to show you how I'm finding this. So if I do, let me see here. If I zoom all the way out here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight my chart from today. Oh shit, let me make it bigger so you guys can see it actually. Bring it down. So what I'm going to do, if I just highlight today's price action and I go back to Wednesday, right? Just go back to Wednesday, okay? Look at the high price that we put in here on Wednesday, rolling into Wednesday here, right? This was the high price, 45.94, okay? 45.94 we put in as the high price. If you look at where the day starts to open up on Wednesday here, then this would have been our high price here at around 45.76, okay? So that's what we would essentially be looking for. For me personally, I'm just going to take the whole day from the start of Wednesday, overnight session, London session. I'm going to take that high. That's going to be, I already know that's going to be my macro resistance there. Okay, that's my macro resistance. So I've got that one in orange just to kind of let me know that, hey, this is our absolute top resistance here. But if we look at the 45.70, right, we look at the 45.70, that was yesterday's high price according to New York local time open, right? So 6:30 in the morning, what was the highest price we put in from New York, the start of New York session until we closed New York session yesterday? And that price was 45.70s, roundabout, right? Not to the penny, just roundabout 45.70s. So that's this purple line here. The only reason why I have this orange line up here is because this was the highs from the overnight London session coming into that New York session, okay? So for me, if we were to get over 45.70s, the next potential stop is going to be 45.94s. So if I can get back into this zone, I would need to break this zone, back test it, hold it, and then push, and then I would have a good shot at testing 45.90s. That's why I have it. And if we look at the lows from yesterday, okay, look at the lows from yesterday. The lows we hit here at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. 12:30, we hit these lows at around 45.27 and we bounced. And then in the overnight session, we lost that. Now we put in a new low at 45.10. So that's just how I play it, you know. But again, so once we lost yesterday's low price in the overnight session, we put in this new low. That's why I have the dotted line here. So going into tomorrow, for example, so if I'm going to get ready for going into tomorrow, my price, this dotted line is going to get adjusted. It's going to get adjusted. So this is what it would be for tomorrow, right? So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, right? So now 45.05 is today's lows as of now. Now, obviously we can sell off. The market is still open, but as of right now, 45.05 is going to be my lows for today that I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. So if we break 45.05.75 tomorrow, I will take that short position. I'll wait for the candle to close below it. I'll get the confirmation and then I'll take that. And then if we look at the highs from today, right, just from the open, so from the open now, it would look like something like this, right? Let's say the market was closed. I would take all this off. So now we would look at a range between 45.40s and 45.05 on the ES, right? So we're trading within a 35-point range. So tomorrow, for example, if this day was closed today, I would be looking for a breakout over 45.40s to go long, and then I would already know that 45.70s is the next potential stop. I would play that range, and then over 45.70s into 45.94s. That's how I would continue to play these ranges. But again, you know, market is not closed. So, you know, we could still push higher or we could push lower, but, you know, I'm just talking in theory as if, you know, the market was closed right now or the New York hour session was closed. So how many people that are watching right now, how many of you guys, if you could just give me a little heads up in the comments or in the chat, how many of you guys trade futures? If you trade futures, just type in futures. If you trade stocks and options, just type in options or stocks or something. The majority of you guys trading futures or stocks. Taking a look at Tesla here. Tesla was also a nice setup. If we look at Tesla, in the pre-market pull down, put in these pre-market lows here, stayed above yesterday's lows at 250.50, and then immediately right off the bell. Again, these are the plays that I live for. Like, I live for this shit right here, to be all honest. Like, even in Evolution Traders Discord, you know, sometimes the majority of my money is made within the first 30 minutes, and then I'm kind of just sitting back, kind of trying to pick spots apart. But, you know, what I do notice is that a lot of people have confidence issues, especially early off the bell, because of the volatility, because of, you know, the big swings, the big candles, have confidence issues in taking plays off the bell. But for me, this is an A+ setup. You know, why is it an A+ setup? Look at where Tesla pulled down to in the pre-market. So we put in these pre-market lows at 251.31, okay? We've got yesterday's low sitting at around 250.50, okay? Automatically, common sense is telling me until we break $250.50, this is not going any lower. So I have to trust the charts. I've got to trust the price action. So if we were trading below the 20 SMA all pre-market, and as soon as the bell rings, we explode over pre-market or over the 20 SMA off the pre-market lows under the 20 SMA, I'm looking at an entry price here of 253.80s. Okay, one bar stop is going to put me at 252. So I'm looking at about a $1.75 risk. What did I already say? What did I already say about Nvidia and Tesla? If I can make $1.52, perfect. That's all I need. 10 contracts, make $2 on Tesla, you're done. You're not even going to be trading anymore. Or you can use the pre-market lows, because we've already established that this is the low price that we've put in here at 251. You can use that as a hard stop, right? So you can use that as a hard stop. And as soon as we get the confirmation, we've got to be throwing our money into this candle here, right? One bar stop here or pre-market lows. That's it. We're risking one bar. We're risking one effing bar. That's all we're doing. And that's the thing with trading. I don't care what strategy you trade. I don't care what trading plan you have. I don't care what you're trading. If you're trading futures, crypto, stocks, I don't care. Small caps, it doesn't matter. If you limit your losses to one bar, okay, one bar at the average true range of whatever stock you're playing or asset that you're playing, you will start to identify how much money you need to start taking profits at. So because I play Tesla each and every single day, I know that if I get $1, $1.50, $2, I want to lock in those gains, hold a runner, little piece of a runner left, right? If you just look at what we did here, if you're throwing your money into this bar here somewhere in a price of around, 254s, we go from 254s, and just looking at my chart, where would I be taking profits? Where would I want to take at least half size and lock something in? Where? It's common sense, right? I mean, we have to be able to start identifying if we're going to get in over this opening range candle here because of the reasons already stated. Where are we looking to take profits? Can anyone try to answer that? And this is the problem that a lot of traders have, is they have no idea where to take profits. So they get in, they're green, they're green, they're green. Uh-oh, it pulls back, it pulls back. Now they're red. Now they're down. Now they're panic selling when they could have made a bunch of money and turned off their computer screens. So where would we be looking to take profits, guys? Somebody, there's not a lot of people in here, but at least one person tell me, if you were getting in on this particular setup off the open, where should you think about taking profits? Anyone got something for me? It's got to be one person out there. No answer is a bad answer, guys. It's just whatever you're thinking, just throw it out there, so that way we can work on it. If you guys sit out there and you're just like not really clear, or you don't really understand, or you have a good understanding, ask questions, right? So if we're going to take this setup here again, I'm going to ask the question again. If we're going to take this setup off the bell, right? Because why? Because we're coming off of pre-market lows. We've closed over the 20 SMA. We're going to set a one bar stop or use pre-market lows as a hard stop. This becomes our pivot. We're throwing money into this candle. Where are we thinking about taking profits, guys? Understanding that Tesla's ATR is around $1 to $1.50. Give you guys about 10 more seconds. Should be very, very simple. Nothing. So we would be looking to take profits into the next area of supply. Okay, so if we came from one area of demand and we broke one area of supply, which was a 20 SMA, we're taking profits into the next area of supply. And we're going to hold the runner to see if we can break that and then continue higher. So even if your entry was here, right, that price Tesla's stock price was sitting at around 254. So in 5 minutes, we go from a price of 254, understanding that this is pre-market highs. I need to take profits into the next supply. If we break, that's great. I'll hold a little piece of a runner and see if I can catch more. But I have to assume that we dead stop there and reverse. I have to assume that as a trader. So over 254 into the next area of supply, you're looking at 254.80s. You're looking at 255. You've already made $1 very, very quickly. And then we come all the way up to a price of 255.50. Guys, in 5 minutes, you took $1.50 off of Tesla. In 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, you took $1.50. You take $1.50 on 10 contracts, and you tell me if you know, you wouldn't be making any, any money, right? So after the third candle closes, so if we look at, right, if we understand that pre-market highs is here, and let's say, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I play 10 contracts on Tesla. Okay, that's the size that I'm comfortable with. I've been playing that for almost like 2 years now. Can I increase my size, go to 15, 20 contracts? Sure. But emotionally, I can handle 10 contracts. Emotionally, I don't know if I can handle 15 contracts or 20 contracts yet. I haven't done it enough, right? So again, if I can take $1.50 here into this supply, what I'm going to do is sell 5 contracts. I'm going to sell half size and I'm going to lock in those gains. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, can we break pre-market highs? And if we break pre-market highs, which we did here, do we confirm it, right? So at this point in time on my runners, we broke pre-market highs. What I'm going to do is set a hard stop loss. If we close below this little red candle's low price, I'm out of my runners. I'm out of my runners. I don't even want to be a part of the trade anymore. So I'll sit through this. And then as soon as we explode and put in a new high of day, I'm selling somewhere here. I'm not going to say I'm going to catch the top wicks. You know, I'm not a genius. You know, I didn't know that it was going to stop here. But all I'm waiting for is break pre-market highs. And I want to be selling on the run. I want to sell out on the run. And that's it. That's how you can take a trade here. And within 15 minutes, you're done on the day. And you don't care about what this does. At this point, you don't even care what happens the rest of the day. Doesn't even matter. Because why would it matter if you were able to take $1.50, and then if you actually look at, if you were just take the next break over the pre-market highs, 256 into like 256.50s, you know, 256.70s. I mean, guys, you got in at 254, so you took over $2 on the trade, over 225 on the trade. That's a hell of a move. Even if you're a one lot trader where you're trading 100 shares, right? You made $250 in 15 minutes. If you're a 2-lot trader, you made $500 in 15 minutes. What more can you ask for? $500 a day keeps the day job away. Remember that. You know, 2 lots is all it takes on Tesla to keep your day job away, or to retire early, or to throw up a 6-figure salary a year. That's all it takes. So let's take a look at NQ. So if we look at NQ here, after this, overnight sessions high break, we broke out, we consolidated, and then we've put in a new high. Now we're back testing the 20. We're essentially just trending higher here. We're trending higher. I wouldn't be looking for a short position. If you're currently not sitting long already, nothing much you can do. This back test here of the 20 SMA, you would need these candles to get taken out here for a potential long here. But again, 15,506 into 15,520, we're looking at 10, 15 points here. Could be very, very choppy, but as long as we continue to just ride, this is a hold position. Look at the last setup that came at 755. The last setup was here, guys, 15,425, 15,425. Okay, boom. All the way up to 15,524. Another 80 points here. If you just stay patient, you never even got your one candle stop even tested at all. Like, this was a seamless trade. But it's like, why as a trader are we not identifying these? Why don't we trust these moves? Why? A lot of times it's because we're scared. We are scared that the move's gonna fail. We're scared that we're not gonna make any money. Well, guess what? This whole business is about probabilities. So if we are constantly looking for the perfect setup that's not going to fail and a perfect trade that's never going to lose, I can guarantee you, you're going to come back here in 2 or 3 years later and you're still going to have the same problem. It's time to start trusting yourself, taking the trades and seeing what works, what fails. You know, like you're never going to know until you start taking the trades. Because trading is all about, you know, series of trades. It's about a large body of work. It's not about one particular trade. Like I tell my traders all the time, I don't care if you lose the next 2 or 3 trades, because the 4th one could be the banger. The 5th one could be the banger. We can go on a hot streak and win the next 10 trades after taking 3 consecutive losses. But a lot of times traders, they change strategies, or it's the market, or it's this, or it's news, or it's FOMC, or it's this jobs report, or forget all that noise. Forget all that stuff. That stuff's good if you got nothing to do, right? Like if you want to go watch the news and worry about the numbers, then worry about the numbers and watch the news. If you want to trade and make money, then trade and make money. You know, because regardless, I don't care what news, what data, what numbers, what does what, it's got to do something on my chart for me to react, right? I'm not going to just sit here and say, oh, well, jobs numbers this month, you know, are down, so I think the market's going up. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think. How does the market react to what news is going on? If they don't like the reaction, then we're going to get the breakdowns on the chart. If they love the reactions, we're going to get the chart to move, right? So think about it that way, guys. Think about it that way. It doesn't matter what the hell the market's doing or what the news is. Technicals outrules everything. Now, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't, those catalysts don't move the market, because of course they move the market. But if you get caught up in trying to like always be on top of that kind of stuff, where it's creating a bias as to what you think, that's where people get crushed. Well, I thought because of this, I thought because of that, you know, the market was going to do this. You know, you got to be able to adapt. So how do we know when to be long or short? Okay, so I'm a scalper, I'm a day trader. It doesn't matter if we're going long or short. I flip my bias, you know, if the chart presents itself. But however, right, so look at it like this. Okay, look at it like this. If we're trading below yesterday's high price, however, we're above yesterday's lows and we've broken the overnight session highs, right? Should we be thinking short or long? Look at the range that we're playing. We're playing in the range, I'm just using the NQ as an example, between 15,444 and 15,721. We're in this range now, coming off of the bottom. So I want to be thinking long. Now, if we were to break below 15,339, I would be thinking short. So for me, I'm going to ignore the shorts today. These little short setups, like this is a short setup here. I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to ignore this, because the overall bias is long on the day. So as soon as we break the overnight session highs, I want to be long. I want to be long here, you know, 15,460s. I want to be long. You know, as soon as we broke yesterday's lows and we confirmed that, I want to be long, you know, and that price was 15,430s. I want to be long. I don't want to be short. So how do you know when to go long or short is, where are we at in the chart? If we were below yesterday's lows, we're below the overnight session lows, then now I want to be short. I hope that makes sense. I mean, look at the trend, right? Look at the trend since the market opened. It was flat and now we're rising. So what's the trend? Is it up or down? Trend is up. So if the trend is flat, I don't want to take a short position if it's flat. I don't want to take a short position if it's flat. If we're rising, I don't care if this topped out here and pulls back for 3 candles. The trend is rising. Okay. Yeah. So the trend is rising. So I want to ignore shorts and go higher. I want to ignore shorts and go higher. I want to ignore pullbacks and go higher. But a lot of times traders will do this. Traders will do this. They won't even know that we're still above yet overnight session highs, and they'll be like, oh, we're pulling back, I'm going short, get stopped out. They'll tell themselves, oh, we just put in a high of day, I'm going to short the market here because I'm going to catch this big move to the downside, get stopped out. Stop trying to guess, right? That's my big thing. Stop trying to guess where the market is going and just go where the market's going. So like, that's like a huge battle. It's a huge battle with a lot of traders, is we're trying to outsmart the market. Like, for example, do I know that we're going to break this and put in a new high today? No. But I'm not going to sit here and tell myself, well, if I short here, I'm going to make all this money on the downside. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But it's not something I'm willing to bet on more times than not. It's not something I'm willing to bet on over the next 100 trades. Because what happens is sometimes traders will do this. They'll say, man, well, yesterday we had a big selling day here and we're kind of pushing higher. So let me short this market here just because I think I'm smarter than the market. Let me short this. And guess what happens? They do make some money. Market does go in their favor, right? And then they think, on the next time they see that same setup, they do it again. And guess what happens? Market never goes down or up, depending on which way you're playing. And then they get crushed because you're not following a strategy. You're just thinking, right? Don't think. Don't think, just react. Like if someone was to ask me, should we be long or short here? I would say that you should have been long for the past 2 hours. Should have been long for the last 3 hours, to be honest. So should you be long or short? You should have been long here. This should have been the candle you were in. If you weren't, you should have been long here. Okay. And if you weren't, your last opportunity was here. So essentially you should have been long for the past 2 to 3 hours. And either you've taken profits or you're sitting here for a bigger run. But again, I would have taken profits already because, you know, we're not trying to catch the whole move. We're not trying to sit in this all day. You know, this price was 15,394, went up to 15,471. So, I mean, you're talking about 50, 60, 70 points here. This setup here, 427 to 475. This is 50 points here. This last setup from 450 even to 477, 480s, yeah, another 50 points there. There's 50 points here, 50 points here, 50 points here. We should be out already. If we're looking for more than 50 points at a time, then damn, you're an animal, right? You're an animal. You know, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of stuff to sit through. But you know, like what I can see happen is this comes back down into this range and then pushes higher. And if it does that, that's bullish. That's bullish. Or if we come back down into this range and break, that could potentially be a short position below 15,414 into 15,339 into this zone. But again, right now, price action's getting a lot slower. It's just essentially, you know, you should have made money already here, 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 and here. Even here. So that's where we should be at right now. That's where we should be at right now. You know, I mean, and even I didn't trade a hell of a lot of futures today. Just took a few trades. I don't even know if you guys can see this shit on your guys' screen. But anyways, I played MES again. I'm working on something here for the guys in my Discord as far as growing a small account and really just focusing on 5 to 10 handles a day. You know, setting a hard stop loss like at $50, $60 on the day. So I'm trading MES here. That's $35 profit there. I took one contract on the NQ. Again, I know I don't trade a lot of minis, but setup was there. 335 there, and then I played 2 micros for $79 there. So yeah, so what is that? I don't know, 435. And again, like, $400, $500 a day keeps the day job away. And that's taking very, very small moves. That's, going with the direction of the overall market. That's not trying to do too much. It's not trying to hit these home runs. As much as I would love to say I sit here and I trade and make $10,000 a day, I'd make an ass of myself if I said I did that. But I mean, for me, like I took $750 on Nvidia this morning, which is great. I'm up $400 here, which is great. It's all about just kind of piecing together the wins, right? Not every day is going to be perfect. The first 2 days to start the week were shit. I was literally scratching and crawling to make a couple $100, right? I had to catch like one trade and then literally sit on my hands, Monday and Tuesday. And then yesterday, we caught an amazing short position, right? A lot of guys in the Discord caught amazing short positions, because we were waiting for that. The longer we go sideways, the bigger the move, whether the breakouts to the long side or to the short side. And yesterday, it was definitely to the short side. We should have been all over that, right? So we definitely made a lot of money there. And then we come into the market and we make some good money off the open. And then now we kind of sit back and we be patient. There's no real reason to trade. And again, I tell a lot of my traders, make your money in the first 2-3 hours of the day and then call it a day. After New York lunch hour session, after, like 10 o'clock my time here in California, I'm not saying that there's nothing going on. But for me personally, in the thousands of trades that I've taken over the last, 6 years, nothing good ever happens when I'm up money, right? When I'm already green on the day and I'm still trying to sit here and trade. I'll use this time to do homework for tomorrow. Yeah, so it's like the longer you try to sit here, it's like this is the problem a lot of traders have. You try to sit here for so long and you're like, I'm up 200, I'm up 300. If I just take another trade, I might be up 1,000, I might be up 2,000. And guess what happens? You end up just giving profits back. How many of you actually have the discipline to make $200-$300 and just turn your computer screen off? How many of you have the discipline to lose $200 or $300 and turn your computer screens off, come back tomorrow? The biggest advice I'm going to give you is the market's not going anywhere. Okay, you're not missing out on anything. There's no timeline to finish this race, right? You want to be in business for a long time, not a short time. So what futures do I trade? I trade MNQ, which is the micros on the NASDAQ. I trade MES, which is the micros. And sometimes I trade minis on the NASDAQ. So predominantly I trade the NASDAQ because of the fact that I come from options background. So the majority of stocks that I trade, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, AMD, Meta, I'm a high beta trader. So I trade big tech. So it was only natural for me, because I already followed the triple Qs, right, to kind of see where that index is going, because those are the stocks that I trade. It was only natural for me to gravitate towards trading the NQ, which is the NASDAQ, and then, the S&Ps. So that's where my background is in tech. I'm an options trader. Like 80% of my money, how I pay my bills, my mortgage, insurance, car payments, put food on the table, comes from trading options within the first hour of the market. Everything else after that is like additional cash flow revenue. So trade futures here, make a couple $100. It stacks up. Let it compound. Make $200 a day, $300 a day. Let it stack. Let it stack. Let it stack. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to do too much. This whole idea of people trying to take 20,000. I mean, I've talked to people and with such unrealistic expectations, of trying to like get these prop firm payouts of like 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand. It's like, when you ask them, it's like, how many accounts do you have? Well, I got $100,000 account, and you're trying to take a payout of $30,000 to $40,000. Doesn't even make sense. You don't even have enough risk to be able to make that much money. Like that's to be all honest. You would need like 10 $100,000 accounts and spread out your risk through all of them to potentially make 10, 15, 20 grand. And consistently. Like the thing is, like, people hit a good trade, they make $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 one time trading futures, and they think that they can do that every day. And guess what happens? The next trade comes, you blow out, and now your account's been liquidated because you were oversized. I understand that, you know, making 25 bucks, 50 bucks, $100 a day doesn't seem like anything, but to be completely honest, with everyone, no one gives a shit how much money you make, right? Like no one cares. No one cares. You are the only person that cares what it looks like, right? So a lot of times, you know, you make $100 trading, right? And we'll just use futures as an example. You make a nice little scalp trade and you make 105 bucks. To you, it doesn't look good because you've seen someone else who made 1,000. So you try to take another trade, and guess what? You lose it all. And then you do it again and you lose more. No one cares how much money you make. Like seriously, no one on social media, none of your friends, your family, no one gives a shit how much money you make. So you made $50 today? Great. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? You make $10,000 today, guess what? They also don't care. They also don't care because you know why? You made $10,000, not them, right? So it's a lot of times us as traders have this crazy idea in our heads that with trading we can make all this money, so we need to make $100,000. It's like, why not just do what you need to do, pay your bills, right? And then once you can pay your bills, increase your size. Once you can pay your car payment, increase your size, and you can do that consistently. Once you can pay your mortgage or your rent with trading, increase your size. So it's like this. I like to tell people this. If you can make $50 a day, now again, not every day you're going to make $50. Some days you might make 72, some days you might make 30. But if you can average $50 a day over 20 trading days, right? You'll make $1,000 a month. Okay. Now, I understand not every day is going to be a winning day. I'm not sitting here and telling you that you can make $50 a day for 20 days in a row. I get it. But let's say it takes you 38 days, so almost 2 months, 38 days to have 20 trading winning days of $50. And our lost days are going to be the same, trading 1 or 2 micros. Okay. Just get this for a second. What would an extra $1,000 over the next month and a half do for you? Is it going to allow you to go buy a Lamborghini or go on vacation on some yacht? Of course not. But let's be realistic here. $1,000 definitely pays for your internet connection. $1,000 definitely can pay for that car payment. $1,000 a month can definitely be put aside for that vacation next month. $1,000 a month can pay for your cable, can pay for your electricity, can pay for your gas, can pay for your groceries, can pay for gas, right, in your car. If someone walked by right now and they said, I'm doing good deeds, they handed you $1,000, would you take it, put it in your pocket and use it to pay for something? If the answer is yes, which it should be 100% out of all of you guys watching this, then what's the problem with making $1,000 a month in trading? Literally, we sit here on our asses, right? And I'm being frank. We sit here on our asses, clicking this mouse around, and within 5, 10, 15 minutes, we can make $50, but that's not good enough. Oh, well, everyone else is making 10,000. I don't care what everyone else makes. That's what I tell everyone at Evolution Traders. I don't care what that other guy makes. I don't care what you've seen on social media. Who gives a shit? You make an extra $1,000 for yourself, your family, whatever. You put that in your pocket. You start putting that money into real life perspective. You start paying bills. You start going out, you know, take that extra vacation, do whatever the hell you need to do. But make it real, right? You make $1,000, increase your contract size by 1. Now you're making $1,500. If you're consistent on that and you've done another 20 winning trading days, then increase your contract again by 1, right? Versus a lot of times people will try to go for making $5,000 month 1, but they've never made $1,000. Like how many of you can say, I make $1,000 every single month? That's $12,000 a year. Do you make $12,000 a year from trading? If the answer is no, then start off trying to shoot for $25, $50 a day and become a fucking master at making $25 to $50 a day. I know you're not going to be able to go buy a house off $25, $50 a day, but guess what? That compounds. And in 3 months, it might be $50 or $75 a day. In 6 months, it might be $100 a day. In 12 months, it might be $200 a day. It compounds, and everyone doesn't understand that, and they want to get to some fucking unrealistic expectation. And that's what's hard. Like, that's the hardest part. So I've been working with traders now for, I don't know, 4 years now. I've been trading for 8 years. The first 2.5 years, I lost a lot of money, right? Like a lot. Like, I had to hire mentors. I had to speak to a family friend who's been in the trading business for a long time, worked on Wall Street in a prop firm, a real prop firm, not these prop firms that we have nowadays, but like a real prop firm. You know, and I really had to go over to his house, because he trades from home. He's been trading for over 30 years. Go over to his house, sit, learn, do whatever I need to do, and actually start figuring out what this business was about, right? So it took about 2 to 2.5 years before things started to click. And when things started to click is when I realized that I need to stop wondering what everyone else is doing. I need to stop focusing on all the bullshit I see on social media, worry about this or that, or, you know, trying to do this and that. You know, I was very lucky. I came from outside of trading. I owned a business outside of this industry. I sold that business. So I had a nest egg coming into this business, and I also gave myself a 3-year timeline to learn this business. And I was legitimately at 2.5 years of constantly losing money before I got fed up and I actually started doing the shit that I needed to do. And that's the problem. So why does it take some traders, like, how many people have heard this before? It takes 2, 3, 4 years before you become profitable. It took 4 or 5 years before I finally became profitable. It took 12 months before I finally became profitable. Everyone's timeline is different, but the reason why it takes that much time is because for ourselves, our emotions, our brain, it takes as much time as it's going to need before you hit rock bottom. You get absolutely fed up with doing everything you think you should be doing, and you make that switch and do shit that you know you should be doing. You know you're not supposed to overtrade, but you do it anyways. You know you gave yourself $100 a day max drawdown loss and you'll stop trading, but then you lose 400. You know that you told yourself, if I can make, you know, $100 or $200 or $300, I'll stop trading. You hit that, and then you want a little bit more and you give it all back. You know what you're supposed to be doing, but you don't do it. So sometimes it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before a trader finally understands that, you know what, all this shit I've been doing doesn't work. And now you finally just relinquish that ego, relinquish, you know, your thoughts or your expectations, and you actually just start playing the charts. You actually just start stopping out when you're supposed to stopping out. And when you take a win early, you in the day, for example, just a general example, let's say you take a trade to start the day, you make $300. Instead of telling yourself, well, if I take another one, I can make $600, I'll stop there, and then you end up losing, actually have the discipline to say, I made $300 in 10 minutes, I'm done. When you start to do the shit that you need to do, and you start building that foundation and those building blocks, is when you start to become profitable, right? You know, don't over leverage yourself. There's no race. There's, you know, use, you know, very small 1-bar stop, or, you know, whatever strategy you're going to use. Like for me, I use a 1-bar stop system. 1-bar stop system, and I trail that with a 20 SMA. So looking at the NQ, is pulling back here. First close below the 20 SMA, 15,484. 1-bar stop would be at 15,498. That has dropped to between 15,483 down to 15, like another 15, 20 points here. So again, I mean, like even this setup is not the best, right? But if you know what you're doing, okay, here's our first close below the 20 SMA, essentially in the last 3 hours. That's my hard stop. Here's my pivot. This is my entry. Boom, take profits on the way down. Boom, take profits on the way down. Boom, take profits on the way down. This move is not big, Okay, it's not big by any stretch of the means, but if you have a plan, to use this 1 bar stop in an entry here, 483 down to 464, guys, 20 points, 15 minutes, sell it, get out, sell it, boom. What's our potential? 15,444. That's our potential. Does it have to get down here? No. Did you just make 15 points, 12 points, 20 points? Yes. Get out. Bye. That's what it takes to be a consistent trader. Not getting into this move and telling yourself, well, it might come down here, and then have it do this, snap you out, and now you lost, and now you're wondering what the hell just happened. Just get in, right? Boom, here, short. Profits. If we make a new low, profits. You can get out. Call it a day. No one says you have to sit here and trade all day. Anyone who's trading in the last 2 hours of the market, you guys are reaching. You're reaching. Because there was a hell of a setup long here, a hell of a setup long here. Back test here. Last setup was here. So realistically, boom, long setup here. So why are we still sitting here the last 3 hours trying to trade, right? Really think about that. Like, I sit here all day to answer questions for the guys in the Discord, if they have any questions, and I start doing my homework for tomorrow. Like, I do this full time, you know, like this is what I do. So like, I don't have nothing else to do, but I'm not sitting here chasing trades the last 2 hours of the market. You know, I'm mainly gathering my thoughts and getting ready for tomorrow is the main thing that I'm doing, and kind of marking out my levels for tomorrow. You know, but here's a question. If you're still looking for a trade, why didn't we make money early today? How come we didn't make money on any of these long setups? Ask yourself that. Journal your day today and ask yourself these questions. Why did I not make money from the open long? Why did I not make money off the open long? Why? A lot of times people are like, well, I didn't think we can go higher. You keep thinking you're not going to make any money. The chart is in front of your face. This is a clear uptrending day after a disastrous day yesterday. So why are we not making money when we broke through yesterday's lows? Why are we not making money when we took out overnight session lows or highs, excuse me, right? Why did we not make money? Because I thought it was going lower. How can we go lower if we haven't even taken out the overnight session lows? How can we go lower? There's a lot of traders don't know the difference between moving up and down and going higher or lower. We can't move lower unless we take out the lows of the day. We can't move higher until we get back into yesterday's channel or take out yesterday's high. Now, of course, the stock can go up and down. That's different. But if you look at that, even if you just ignore all of these candles, right? Ignore all of these candles, and I'm just going to color through all of this. Is the trend up or down? So how come we didn't make money long today? And if you did, congratulations, that's great. If you're just sitting back now, kicking back, watching me talk my shit, then great. But I'm only speaking to anyone who's watching this video or will watch this video that hasn't made any money or is still looking for a trade. This trade is working perfectly here, though. If anyone did take it, again, I don't know why you would be taking it this late in the day, but that trade is good. 1 bar stop is here. Entry was here. We should be trying to lock in profits here. 10 points, 15 points. Should be trying to lock in profits. Obviously, this would be our potential, right? That should be our potential. But let's see if it works out. Because that's the thing. We cannot control what the stock does, what the price of the stock does after we get in the trade. The only thing we can do is manage our risk. The only thing we can control is where we get out of the trade. We can't control what the trade does. We have an idea of where it could possibly come to. We have an idea where to get out if we're wrong. And all it's our job to do is get out on the way down. But again, anytime we're looking to short, right, in an uptrend, it's tough. You're going counter trend right now. Okay, so you understand that you are going counter trend. And you know what you would be looking for here on a counter trend trade is a small scalp, because the move is going to go back up. The move's going to go back up. Right? So as soon as it breaks this, put in a high, come back. Like, that's the continuation of the move. The only reason why that doesn't continue is if this price continues to come down and comes back into this range. Then we would be looking at 15,414. And even that is just a break and retest of yesterday's lows. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So even if you pull back, it's just a one big break and retest for a move higher. So if you're taking scalps on the way down, counter trend, you need to be taking profits quick. Like this move does not have to continue to go down for you. Because you're going to have someone on the other side of the trade who is going to do this. They're going to put a stop loss here. As soon as we take this bar out, they're getting long. And someone's going to be on the other side of the trade taking money from you. If you're short. Again, I don't know who's short. I don't know if anyone is short. I'm just speaking, you know, because I know sometimes people will take this. You know, if you did take this, the short scalp, you should be out. But I think that's over my time, guys. I just want to kind of to jump on here and shoot the shit with you guys real quick. If you guys enjoy these live streams, let me know in a comment below. You know, I can definitely jump on and do these a lot more. You know, sometimes they help people, sometimes they don't. Doesn't really bother me at all. Apple doing nothing. Nvidia stuck in the range of yesterday. So if we look at yesterday's highs on Nvidia, yesterday's lows, we're dead center in the middle. Literally had one play off the open. Middle of the range. So tomorrow on Nvidia, I'll be looking at 458.54s as a supply zone, or the 433s is still going to be down there as well. Anything else you guys want me to look at before I sign off here, chart wise? Let me know. I got maybe 5 minutes left. Yeah, I mean, basically that's what I do. I just honestly shoot the shit. Like, I've been doing this stuff for too long. Like, I don't really like, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. Like, I just tell it like it is. And like, that's a problem that like what I like, I love social media and I hate social media at the same time, because anytime you get on social media, everything seems perfect. It seems like everyone wins. And it's like, I tell my guys and evolution traders too, you know, like, don't let the P&Ls fool you. You know, I take trades, losing trades on a daily basis. On a daily basis, I take losing trades. Doesn't necessarily mean that every single day finishes red, because here's one thing that I want you guys to understand. The bigger your account size is, you know, in full disclosure, my options trading account, like, just like as a disclaimer, my options trading account, the cash account that I use to trade options is close to 6 figures. Okay, so my position sizing on my options could be anywhere between $5,000 in premium and $10,000 in premium. Okay, I try to keep it closer to the $5,000. However, as an example, if I take a trade, let's say it's 10-15 contracts, and I lose $500, I only lost $500. I still have a shit ton more buying power to locate the next setup and get in. And that next setup might eat those losses up and turn me green on the day. So your best trader is going to lose. Everyone fucking loses trades. Like my hit rate is only like 60%. And sometimes it's like floating in the mid 50s. Like I'm like, if I'm taking 10 trades, I'm going to lose 4 or 5 of them. Okay. But I try to keep the losses small. So like, I'm not going to sit here in a losing trade and just like hold it and hope that it comes back, you know? And that's the thing. Like you have to really understand. Let's see. I mean, NQ, I don't know. It was pulling back, right? So let's see. This was a hell of a short trade though. Where was our entry at, guys? 15,484 down to 15,4. That's a 30-point move. Take your profits. So here's how I would analyze NQ now. NQ, okay, NQ broke out of the overnight session highs. I don't know if I should call it overnight session highs, pre-market highs, London session. I don't know. But these overnight session highs that we had here at 15,444, we broke out, we consolidated, we put in a leg higher, and now we're back testing. We're back testing this zone. So if you look at the breakout, consolidate, leg higher, back testing. I don't necessarily like the you know, how we're giving back the whole leg into this zone. What I would be looking for is if we can push off, I would put my money into it coming higher and then use like 1544 as your hard stop. But if this continues to pull down and breaks below 15,444, well, it puts you back into the zone of around 15,400s. It just depends on where you're looking at the move from. So if you're looking at the move from coming off the day's lows, this is one big leg followed by a back test, followed by the next move higher. So I would definitely start looking for the move in the 15,400s, between 15,420s, 15,440s. Look to see if this move stands. Again, if you're looking to try to take a trade here, I mean, you're catching essentially a falling knife here. Your entry was here. I already spoke about this, you know, about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Your entry was there. And that's a hell of a fucking move. Damn it. So does everyone see why our short entry was there? Again, taking a short against a trend, we got to be thinking taking profits. So if anyone was short, here was your next setup here. Boom. Take your profits. Take your profits. Because look at what we did as we came into this zone here. Boom, little bounce. So do we get the continuation through this zone? Then I would be targeting 15,400s, or look for the consolidation and the bounce. Let's see what ES is doing. Yeah, so look at what ES did. ES is hard rejected. ES got hard rejected off of, is this yesterday's lows or yesterday's highs? ES was hard rejected off the 4540s area. So that was definitely a profit taking zone here off the bottom range here, the 4505 into that 4540s. That was a hard reject back down. Now we're trading below the 20 on the ES. 4531 should have been your entry. You're looking at almost a 6 point move. 6 point move down to the downside here. So I would definitely be thinking about taking profits here if you're short on the ES. You know, we can come down, but look at the previous consolidation that we had here, right? Look at this previous consolidation before the leg higher. Look at where we're pulling down into, right? And if we go even further left, look at the former rejection. previous rejection became new support. So as of now, this is still acting as support, this whole area. This was also supply before previously. You see that? And look at how that's going to bounce. Doesn't mean that it's not going lower, but any type of rejection in this zone, any failure through the 45.25s next time is a short, unless it continues to run, unless this just continues to flush. But based on my strategy, my short position was here, right? And I did not take the short, but I'm saying my strategy gave us an entry here. Here's our reason why candle. Here's our 1 bar stop. This is our pivot. This is our entry. I need 3 things to happen. So I need 3 things to happen. I need to be trading over the moving average, showing me that momentum is strong one way, and then I need to reverse that trend, right? This is my reason why. This becomes my pivot. This becomes my stop. This becomes my entry. Take profits on the way down. Again, we're going against the trend, so we're not looking for a home run. We're just looking for base hits, okay? So as I stated, look at the previous consolidation and look at where we just stopped, right? So we want to be thinking about taking profits into the previous area of consolidation. I think a lot of traders, you know, they hesitate on this move. Now they're jumping into this bar and now it's bouncing and they're panicking, right? Like that's what happens to a lot of traders. This is a 5-minute time frame. Five-minute time frame. So if we look at the 2-minute, I also play the 2-minute. I don't play the 1 minute just due to the fact that the 1 minute chart is fucking too crazy, especially on a choppier market day. But even on the 2 minute, the entry was at the reason why was at 10:28 Pacific Standard Time, so almost 30 minutes ago. So again, if we look at the reason why candle at 10:28, here's our 1 bar stop. Here's our entry. Boom. We need to be taking profits on the way down. Have to be. You see that? If we're going to have any type of follow through, this is what we would be looking at in the price action. And the next short position would be here below this break. If it's going to continue to fail. Right? That's what you would look for. I'll just leave that on the chart, to be honest. But for all of you futures traders out there, like, do we see why we would be looking to short this position even though it's against trend? There's a potential scalp there. Can we identify that? That's the thing. If you can't identify that there was a potential short here, then we have a problem. I'm not saying you have to take it, right? I'm not saying that. But at least if we can identify that there was an entry there, that'll help you for next time. Just like if we can identify that there was entries along the way up, right? I mean, look at this entry. Look at this entry. This is choppy, but you never would have gotten stopped out. But look at this entry. Huh. And another thing is backtesting. I must have backtested before I was profitable like 10,000 times, 10,000 trades. I would play them out in my mind. Okay, if I took this trade, where was my stop? If I was in this trade, where should I have sold? Why did it stop here? You know, why did it reverse? I would play this out. Yeah. Yeah, Sergio, you're right. And that was also another setup too. I mean, once we rejected that, it was just harsh, right? Like super harsh. Like we could have even used those highs there, that consolidation highs, as a max pain stop loss, and just said, fuck it, I'll let them take, like, prove to me that you're going to stop me out, challenge the stock. It's the stock's job to work for you, not our job to work for the stock. We don't work for them, they work for us. Work for me. You prove to me that I need to be out of this trade. If you consolidated here, you consolidated here, boom. As soon as we lost this short-term change in trend here, get short here, and now it's the stock's job to work for me. I'm putting you to work. Yes, I'm putting you to work. If not, you need to stop me out and prove to me that I'm an idiot. Yeah, what happened? They deleted your express funded. You talking about with TOPSTEP? What'd they do? Changing your platform around? I moved over to Quan Tower with TopStep. I was one of the victims to get stuck in a trade with TraderVate, and I love TraderVate. I love the platform and everything. I mean, it's easy to use, web based, but man, when I got stuck in a trade, went from being profitable to closing the trade and then switching back over to my options account, right? Switching back over to my options account on Thinkorswim, and I came back and I was still in the fucking trade, like it never closed me out. And then I was logged out for like 30 minutes. I was like, yeah, that can't happen. Luckily the trade came back and I was able to break even on it, but so look at this level here on the NQ, guys. Look at this level here on the NQ. I want to point something out here. So look at these overnight session highs. I don't even know if I should call them that. Again, I come from stocks and options. So for me, I'm always going to be saying pre-market highs or whatever, right? But some of you futures guys and Forex dudes, you guys will call these the London session or overnight session, whatever. But look at the overnight session highs here from Thursday, right? So if we look at where the market was at Thursday, and this is what I mean by that, right? So it's not confusing, so I don't have to explain myself a million times. All I'm talking about is, if today Thursday at midnight, when the clock strikes midnight and it's Thursday, right? What's the damn high price that we put in? I'm calling that overnight session. I'll just call it that. And I'm going to call the lows overnight session lows, right? So look at this mark here, the 15444s, right? 15445s. We tested it once off the open, right? We tested it once off the open. We couldn't hold that. We came all the way back down to the bottom of the range. Finally, once we pushed through and put in the highs, right? Put in the highs to 475s, 480s almost. Consolidated, last leg higher at the 525s, and look at where we're coming back down to, into this range yet again. So coming back down into the range of overnight session highs as well as yesterday's lows. So here's what the bulls need. Like, if you're a bull or you're a long-sighted trader, the market in general, the market bulls, you need 15-4 14s, 15-4 15s to hold. Because at this point, on a bigger time frame, right, we broke back into yesterday's channel, and now all this is a back test for a continuation, right? Now, wouldn't that be perfect, right? Wouldn't that be perfect? Yeah, so why'd they close them? What are they doing? They're switching you platforms, like they're doing that automatically. I had to hit them up. What are they going to move you over to? You going to Ninja Trader or Quan Tower? I like Quantar. That thing's quick. I've used it for a few days now, and it's pretty good. But all right, guys, I'm oh, something with the trade reports being uploaded to, oh yeah, I seen that email. They sent me an email too about there was double P&Ls on everyone's shit. Got hit with rule violations even though it wasn't correct. I have 2 trade evade. I'm currently waiting on 1 NTA credentials. Yeah. Yeah, I seen that. Trader Vate's completely screwed up right now. I don't know why. Maybe I'm assuming that because TopStep went to that discounted sale, you know, just an influx overloaded their server that they've got set up with Trader Vate. Because I know people with Apex, right? With Apex who are on Trader Vate, and they haven't had half the problems as TopStep. So it must be Trader Vate's server that they've got TopStep clients on that is not able to handle the workload. I'm assuming, but you know, I'm sure Trader Vate will they'll fix it and then it'll be back at some point in time. I mean, it's a good platform when it works, right? So, but the reportings I know were bad, and people closing their trades or getting thrown out. I mean, it's not like TopStep's fault. Like, I seen a bunch of people on social media talking about, you know, what is TopStep going to do to fix it or this, that. It's not really their fault. It's just it's the platform, you know. But as long as everyone gets taken care of or whatever. And again, I mean, I would too recommend. You know, here's another point. Use the prop firms as a stepping stone. Use the prop firms as a means to an end, right? Like, it's cool. Go get funded. You know, get those fucking payouts and then load up your own accounts. And like, I know a lot of people use AMP futures. I just went with Iron Beam for my personal account. You know, there's a lot of other brokers out there. Commissions are cheap. You know, the margins are thin on them. You don't need a hell of a lot of money. You can trade a few micros at a time for, you know, cheap. I would definitely do that, because here's the only thing, and I'm probably gonna do some teaching on this as well, on a way to analyze this. Let's yeah, Sierra Charts is also good as well. Sierra Charts is great. Let's use this as an example, right? So current TopStep price is $50 for a combine. Okay, so it's $50 for a combine, and for the $50,000 account, I'll just use that as an example. So you need to make $3,000 profit. So once you make $3,000 profit, you get put in that express funded account, and then you need to have, what is it, the 5 trading days of over $200 now, right? So 5 trading days of over $200. So again, that's another $1,000. So even if you just look at it that way, you've made, based on your trading skills, $4,000, right? And then you can withdraw 50% of that. So which means that you make $4,000 and then you can withdraw 500, right? Now, obviously up to 10,000, you can take out 100% of it. But if you were trading on your own account, you could have essentially withdrawn $4,000 out of your own account. So, you know, and that's trading micro. So for example, like to trade 1 micro on like AMP futures or Iron Beam or any one of these other futures platforms, brokers, you know, it's $50 margin for the MES micro. So $50 margin. So even if you load it up, like, let's say, for example, I'm just using a stupid example here. If it's going to cost you $50 for a TopStep account, and then you need to, once you get funded, pay the $150 activation fee, now you're into this account for $200, and you need to make a total of $4,000 before you can withdraw $500, right? That's the general math on it. Even if you put in $200 into a personal futures account, which is what it cost you to get your funded account, okay, stay with me. $200, you can trade 1 micro MES. You target 3 to 6 handles a day. That's $15 to $25 a day. Okay. over the course of 5 days, you're looking at, around 150, 100, $125 profit over the course of a month. You're still looking at $500 profit, but you only had to make $500. You didn't have to make 4,000 like on TOPSTEP, and that money's yours. You can take it out whenever you want. Prop firms, yeah, are the way to go for newer traders, yes, so you don't blow yourself up. But the only thing to keep in mind, because I'm not against prop firms, I'm for prop firms. Use them to your advantage. You use them to your advantage for sure. The only thing is, understand as well that the prop firms are built for you to fail. Okay, so in order to win, don't look at it as you versus the market. Look at it as you versus all the other scrubs, right, who are signing up for these challenges or combines. Look at it like that. It's you versus them, because you're taking their activation fee money. You're taking their monthly fee money. You're not really taking money out of the markets, although you're using your skills to make the trade setups, of course. But if you can be a disciplined trader, you can clean house on these prop firms and get your payouts. So yes, it's good. But for example, like on TOPSTEP, I'll just use them for an example because we're already talking about them. On TOPSTEP, for example, they cut down their consistency from 30% to 50%. So what is that going to do? That's going to entice you to play bigger size, because you don't need to fall under that 30% consistency rule. They changed their time to get funded down to 2 days or some shit like that. So what it's doing is it's forcing traders with the mindset to oversize themselves to get funded quicker. And when you try to get funded quicker, because now you only have to have a 50% consistency rate and you only have to take 2 days before you can potentially get funded, it causes you to oversize to hit the home run trade so you can get in quicker, but you end up blowing up quicker. So my best advice is take your fucking time. 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, get your fucking account funded. I don't care if it takes 30 days or 60 days. Get your account funded, slow roll it, and get your payouts from them and milk those son of a bitches. You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to look at it. That's how you have to look at it. Yeah, and that's the truth. Like, because there's no fucking rush, right? Like, I know a lot of the even a lot of the forex guys, the forex prop firms, they all, like, those guys are a joke, right? Not saying the traders are a joke, but those companies are a joke, even built more on failing, because they would give you, 2 steps and then 30 days to pass, and then another 30 days to 8% and 5%. That's tough to do. What that causes you to do is force trades. Now, a lot of them are going to, like, even FTMO and all of these other ones, a lot of these other ones are going to no time limits, which is great. It's great for the trader, but then they lessen the rules down on the consistency. They shorten the time on how long they want you to trade before you can get funded. So although they're taking off the time limits on how long you need to trade, they cut everything else in half. So what it does is it entices the trader to reach faster. Take your fucking time. 30 days, 60 days, I don't care if it takes 90 days, but if you can take 90 days, use the example. If you can make $1,000, right, once you're funded a month, 2 or 3 accounts, you're at $2,000 or $3,000. Slow, no stress. You're not rushing trades, not oversizing, trying to trade 15 contracts at a time. Sure, trading 15 contracts at a time on a 1-minute chart, catching 5 handles is fucking great. But what happens when you get into that trade and the volatility is so fast, and the price action, especially on something like NQ, is so fast, you can go down $2,000 or $3,000 and blow your account in one trade before the move has even started, right? Like, you can get stopped out before you even seen if you were even right on your bias or your technical analysis. And when that happens is it forces you to kind of like think, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe my strategy sucks. Maybe I need to go to another strategy. These plays, these setups take time to get going. Sometimes they work right away, and sometimes they work in 5, 10, 15 minutes. But if we can't even stomach the drawdown based on our sizing being too big to even see the move play out, that's a huge problem, right? That's a huge problem. It causes you to stay in the hamster wheel. So play small, play small. Yeah, like yeah, I agree. Bull and then Sergio. Yeah, like if you can't walk away, and that's how a lot of traders are. Like legit. I've helped coach traders, and we've been on Zoom calls or live calls like this where we're playing price action, and they're literally like this, like watching every candlestick. Like if they get into this candle, I'll just use this as an example, right? If they get into this candlestick, this one, they're like watching that candlestick uptick, downtick, uptick, uptick, downtick, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, we can't even get stopped out until we lose the lows, and we're targeting this, right? I'm just using a generic example because look at this play here, right? So we've back tested those overnight session lows. We put in a low here. So if this is our stop loss and we're targeting this, and we're watching a 5-minute candlestick, I can't even get out of this trade for 5 minutes. There's nothing I can even do. Yeah, you're blowing the candle. You're like, you got your nose to the fucking screen thinking that you're going to be able to lift up the candlesticks. There's nothing you can do once you're in this trade. Once you're in this trade, it's like I said, it's not our job to make this stock go higher. We have an idea. We have a thought process here. We're using a technical stop loss. We have a take profit. That's all we can do is fucking wait. Like there's nothing we can do. And if you decide to take profits here, you decide to take profits here, you decide to take profits here, okay, fine. You fucking live with that, but don't be crying when the stock is way up here and jumping in now. You're jumping in late again on the same initial move that you were already in. Like how many times has that ever happened to you? Or anyone, right? Or even talk to people where you get in on a move, you're so fucking paranoid because you're oversized that you take profits here. Let's say you're trading one NQ mini contract, you take profits up $200. Next thing you know, you would have been up $700, and then you're jumping back into the trade. It slightly pulls back, you give back all the gains, and then next thing you know, the thing goes like that. Like how many times, bro, has that happened? So it's like if you can't even allow this trade to work out, you're oversized. Like just size down and breathe a little bit. You got to live your life, man. I mean, you got to live your life. Sometimes I'll like, not all the time, but especially not with the futures because they move quickly. But like sometimes when I'm trading stocks, shares, I'll set the stop loss on there and I'll go out to Starbucks and grab a coffee. Like, because sometimes I can't watch this fucking price action, like I already know I'm in the move. I've got a specific level to take profit and I've got my stop loss. There's nothing at that point I can do. It's up to the stock's job to work for me. Like I said, it's the market's job to prove to me I'm wrong. It's the market's job. There's nothing we can do once we're already in the move. If it fails, it fails. But that's the thing. Is it going to fail over the next 100 trades, right? Like, is it going to fail over the next 50 trades? I tell everyone like this, take 20 trades, set the same stop loss, look for the same setups. After 20 trades, evaluate your P&L and evaluate what the hell you did wrong. A lot of times people will see that the later in the day, that they take trades, their probabilities go down than versus the earlier in the day, and vice versa. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, even that, I would even with 7 micros, I'd cut it down to 3, cut it down to 3. I mean, because when you're in a move, like for example, like look at this last setup here. Why the hell did this go so small? Even the last setup there, now that's too big. Even like this last move here coming off this bottom, the first time you could have essentially set a 1 bar stop here and just been in this trade all day, right? And it's like even on like 3 or 4 micros, I mean, shit would have been up $200-300 easy, right? With no stress. Like that's the thing. This game is stressful. Like if especially if you're oversized. So if you're oversized and you're dealing with this stress on a day in and day out basis, you're not going to be in the business a long time. I'll just tell you that much right now. Like you might get lucky and have a couple good months, and then you're going to blow it out because it's just too much stress. Like the brain is not built for that. We are not built for this each and every single day. So the less stress, the better. That's what I'll end it on here, guys. I gotta take off here. Gotta run. I'm starving, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. If you guys did like this live stream, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to join Discord, all that information is down in the bottom below. But I'll try to jump on and do more of these if you guys like it. Yeah, exactly. I got enough stress in my life too. These women be driving me crazy. So you know, make sure that yeah, make sure you guys are staying safe out there. Stay patient. Again, this is not a fucking race. Market's going to be open tomorrow. It's going to be open the day after that. It's going to be open next week. I'll tell everyone this, you know, even if you're, you know, 70 years old, this market was here long before you, and it's going to be here long after you're gone. So again, it's not our job to make, not our job to be a millionaire today, right? So let's stay in the game. See you guys all next time.